Northfork is about a town in transition and human lives and citizens of Northfork that are in transition. And through transition, you learn about how people deal with leaving a town which they homesteaded in. They set up their house, and this is where they figured they would live. And when they're told to leave, what happens? And through these citizens, we learn of a boy that can't leave. And when he can't leave, what do we do? How does he deal with it? Because he's going to be dealing with another different kind of transition, which is life and death. And so Northfork encompasses not only the physical life of relocating yourself, but also the metaphorical and the afterlife of relocating, and how that is, and who accompanies you when you leave not only your land, but who accompanies you when you leave your body. And that's really what Northfork is about. Independent filmmaking has you doing tasks where you'd normally be separated in other desired studio works. Our primary goal was actor and director. Mark being the actor and me being the director, but having to facilitate those roles, we ended up becoming producers and writers. And when you choose to do independent film, you take on jobs which necessarily are something divided and not done when you do bigger budget movies, and you have unions separating you. In independent film, there's no union to tell you can't do this or that, and the necessity to make a movie is you sometimes have to produce your own work.
It seemed like each thing we wanted to do, from me being an actor, had to be a writer, to then produce the writing, I had to become a producer. So it kept going back. In fact, to facilitate what I really wanted to do was just be an actor. So that's how those all came about. It's kind of not your choice. You have no choice. You just do it. You know? Working with him was great, because he's so sharp and he's so focused. And James was one of those actors that I had really admired growing up and really looked at all his work, and given the opportunity to work with him was just a dream of mine. How he came to the project was through the script going out. We didn't think of him for the role, but as the screenplay went out among the town, his representatives got a hold of it, read it, and said, James has responded to this material as Walter. So naturally had a meeting with him, and he really, really understood the material. And you kind of think back now why we didn't think of him for the role, because he's just perfect for it. Working with him was a great American actor that you don't have to say much. They come very prepared and they're very focused, and they've got their craft pretty well honed. They just like to hear what your interpretation of it is, but our interpretation is pretty much on the page, and what they bring just adds to that. He came about. We did a movie with him in Nice, in France, about a year and a half prior to filming Northfork. We became quite friendly on the set and talked about independent filmmaking and the state of it, and how he's been such a major ally to the movement, and really loaned his talents to a lot of independent filmmakers. So when we came back to the United States, he invited us out to his place, and we were talking about what our next project was. Jackpot had just won an award in Seattle, and he was aware of that and said, is there anything for me in your next project? Mike and I kind of stood back and was kind of in awe, because as we thought of him, we never thought his availability or quite thought of him as being able to be in Northfork. But as we gave him the script, he read it and he gravitated to the role of Walter. Who do you play?
I play Mr. Stallings, who's a kind of a Noah figure who doesn't want to leave his house and knows there's a flood coming, and he builds an ark to deal with the flood.
And is everything in pairs?
He has everything. Absolutely. Sorry. He has everything is in pairs. He has a pair of wives. He has a pair of deer heads. He has a pair of walleyed pike. He has a pair of rainbow trout. Only thing he doesn't have a pair of is a moose head. But he pairs up with that himself.
I play Happy, who is, I guess, one element of what would be a whole person. And I think it's ironic that a guy who can't see and has no hands is ultimately happy. So he seems to be the one who brings reason and science into the equation of reasoning.
Okay.
Well, he's a little orphan. And he's really, really sick. And these are the people that
Visita mi canal.
found me when I was chasing after this like big bird with 4 legs.
Yeah.
And he's a little orphan who's really, really sick, and people find him, and somebody takes care of me, and it's like having a new family.
Yeah.
Working with the boys it's been the single best experience I've had, actually, working on a set. They just keep the environment really relaxed and open to ideas. Their vision is so strong and original, and you just feel that you're free to create, and they really provide an environment which is not to sound too pretentious, but it's all about art. It's all about creation, and I've never experienced such openness to play, and you couldn't meet nicer guys.
Amazing to have that experience, you know, people that you've always admired and just been always amazed by, and having the opportunity to work with them, and also having the opportunity to work with them with people that I've already worked with too, so it kind of makes it comfortable and yet having that opportunity at the same time.
Great.
Well, I actually spoke to the Polish brothers, Mike and Mark, about this. We were talking about another project, and they said that this was going to go soon. And I just said, you know, whatever you're doing, I'd love to do something in it. And they were like, great. And it worked out like that. So it was really, that was the suggestion, and then they sent the script over, and the script is very unusual. But it's a beautiful story. Working with Mike and Mark is, anytime I think you work with special filmmakers, particularly if they've written the material themselves, as they have in this case, you just feel very very safe and very protected, and they're both, you know, pretty low key and really trust their eye, and so I guess more than anything, it's just that they may give you a real sense of you feel comfortable, you know, in front of the camera, which I think for me is very important. I feel like I'm being watched, and it's and they're there supporting.
It's Father Harlan, and he has an orphanage, and he's kind of, I guess, the emotional weight or moral weight of Northfork. He's going to be the last out, and so he's making sure everything is kind of taken care of. he also is, he's a man of faith, but in the biblical sense, but not in the biblical sense. In other words, I kind of see it as a man of faith that he's positive about life. And one of the ways he remains positive and keeps things going is constant forgiveness. So sinning is forgiven, and forgiven. So people move forward and grow. Well, in low-budget films, you do that what you love. The bigger budget films are basically about money, and they're rather conflicted and strifeful, and they're very difficult to do. And you have to be real careful with them, because they can really destroy your love of and the passion for your work. Because that game is played on hundreds of millions of dollars.
The positive aspects are that you get far greater artistic involvement, because you're giving your time for a lot less money. Consequently, well, certainly in this case, the boys give you great leeway. I mean, obviously, if you're going in the wrong direction as far as they're concerned, they say don't do that. But on the whole, they're trusting their casting, and they let you run with it, which is great. I mean, generally you have certain blinkered bits that you've got to go down the middle of, and in this you just get a little bit more say in what goes on.
Well, Northfork is, I think, an amazing film. It's about, I guess you would say, transitions in life. Most people, I think, resist change or try not to acknowledge change or even understand what change is. And of course, in our film, we deal with the most fundamental of changes, the transitions from life to death, the transitions of understanding that that's a part of the process of all of life. The part that Mark plays, my son Willis, and the part that I play, Walter O'Brien, come together in our loss of my wife and his mother. And there's a situation where a dam is being built that is going to wipe out an entire town, and we're on the evacuation committee, and as we evacuate all the people, we find a few who don't want to move, which is our challenge. And we're also faced with the fact that my wife and his mother is in this Northfork cemetery and has to be moved, and it's something that we both resist.
Flacco gets hit, like the audience sees Flacco gets hit before anybody else.
Yeah.
And then when he falls over, they can look up. He'll be falling over.
It's more of a cartoon.
Right.
It's a straight bullet, and everybody forgets about it for a while. You got the person you forgot about, sits there and falls over in a white shot. And that's all we should play.
They could even be reacting to the sound of it falling.
Yeah, exactly. Or they hear I think they hear the glass break and they look. They would never ever expect Flacco to be hit.
Yeah. But just the question is,
crazy.
What do I do doing nothing much?
Yeah.
Does the fourth one I say thank you?
Yeah.
Why did you cross that up?
Oh, it's because we're not doing that.
What happens when I pause? I see other people say stuff.
Can you hear it? Where's that?
His name is Flacco, right?
No, it's Cup of Tea. First name Cup, middle name of, last name Tea.
Cup of tea. Samantha, sugar.
Sugar? One number 2.
And action!
Conviction with conviction. Good afternoon, Mr. Stalling. My name is Mr. Walter O'Brien. This is my son Willis, and we're here with the evacuation committee.
It has been brought to the state's attention that you're seeking some assistance.
I'm not going anywhere, son. We are aware of that, sir. That's why the state has asked us to come to your aid.
The state understands your difficulty with moving on.
If I may. All right, sir.
Okay.
We'll cue you, and when they come in, you guys all form your line.
So, in this manner.
Yeah, and then you walk up and finish the line. Well, he's gonna come. He's gonna call you on it. No, just walk up and walk over there. It'd be nice if you guys all.
All right. Now, so I get out.
Yeah.
When I see the boy.
Yeah.
Say afternoon, boys.
Yeah.
I should head towards the
Yeah. Right when you get to flip the wall, say your line.
Right.
They all want to stay away from you because it's like a duel. Right. So you can say your line from back here. You see Walter, you just
want me to start to move?
Yeah.
Yeah. Walter.
That's right.
Your wife. Very lovely lady.